this is the best cinema camera out there that I would recommend for almost everybody.
All right, so Matti just said that the FX6 is the best cinema camera in 2025. Well, I happen to disagree. And I'm gonna tell you why this camera is the best cinema camera in 2025 and probably in 2026. All right, so yeah, I was watching the video of Matti reviewing the FX6, and I was quite surprised, and I was shocked actually when he said that the FX6 is the best cinema camera in 2025. I watch Matti. I've been watching him for years. By the way, congratulations on your Toronto Blue Jays making it to the World Series. I know you guys are not gonna win. I got the Dodgers, but that's for another day. Anyway, I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why this camera is by far the best cinema camera in 2025. And of course, I'm talking about the Canon C80. Number 1 is the fact that this camera can shoot 6K internally in RAW. Internal, again, in RAW. We know the FX6 can only go up to 4K, and you can shoot RAW on the FX6. So even when shooting in 4K, you're oversampling from that 6K sensor. So you're gonna get a much better image quality on this camera than what you would do on the FX6. And again, 6K up to 60 frame RAW internal. You don't have that on the FX6. Basically what that means is this camera is future proof. I can shoot on this camera for the next 3, 4, 5 years. The FX6, being that it is a 5-year-old camera, more than likely you're gonna see a replacement in the next year or so. It's actually, I'm surprised we haven't seen it because Sony is actually overdue. But believe it or not, I believe when Canon was making this camera, their engineers, they had to answer one question. And the question was, is that better than the FX6? So any feature, any new whatever it was that they brought up to the table, it had to answer that question. Is this better than the FX6? Because I mean, it is true. The FX6 has been the gold standard over the past couple of years in terms of documentary, corporate, commercial work. The FX6 has dominated, no question about it, up to the point when this camera came out, this and the C400. So no question about it, the image quality out of this camera, much better. Again, you can shoot in RAW internally. You don't have that on the FX6. 6K, so even when you shoot in 4K, you're oversampling from that 6K sensor. So I think even Matti would have to agree with that one. Number 2 is the triple base ISO. 800, 3200, 6400. The first camera to do that was actually the C400, and we know that this camera has the exact sensor as the C400. So obviously triple base ISO is a lot better than the FX6, which has a dual base ISO of 800 and 12,600, which is, there's a big gap between 800 and 12,000. So, I think this is more likely what you're going to experience on your own set, going from 800, 3200, 6400. If you're shooting in RAW, if you're shooting compressed, then you have 400, 1600, 3200, which again, still a magnificent, gives you a lot of flexibility. I myself, when I'm shooting, if I'm shooting indoors, B-roll, stuff like that, I go to that 1600, when I'm shooting FX8C, I go to that 1600. Image looks super clean, no noise whatsoever. I've shot a couple times at 3200, and again, perfectly crispy, crisp image. So obviously triple base ISO, the first camera to do so, like I said, was a C400, and now this one. The FX6 obviously cannot compare in terms of that. We know Sony is legendary for the low light capabilities, but I believe that this camera can definitely outperform this FX6 when it comes to shooting low light. And again, with that beautiful 6K sensor, again, you got to give it to the C80 on this one. And number 3 is a combination of things, but basically best autofocus, Canon color science, which is legendary, and also, like I said before, you are future proof with this camera. Sony FX6, again, the 4K, you're limited to that, no internal RAW. It's a camera for now, but like as I mentioned before, the camera is actually outdated. I can make the case that it is outdated. All the new cameras that are coming out, the C80, shooting 7K RAW, full frame, and open gate. All the new cameras that have come out in the last, the Pisces, 6K, 12K. So the FX6, it's falling behind. Sony has fallen asleep. I don't know why. They should have released an update to this camera, probably years ago, probably before this camera came out, or right around the same time. They should have come back strong with a strong offering, but they haven't done so. And because of that, I believe that in 2025, the C80 is a far, far better choice than the FX6 or any camera for that matter. I put this camera against any right now, aside from its big brother, the C400. I don't think you can find a better cinema camera than this. This camera is super versatile. You can put it on a gimbal. You can rig it up, make a full cinema rig. You can put this on a drone. The camera is small enough, yet big enough that it can do any multitude of things. This is the Swiss Army, the real one of cameras, of cinema cameras. So, I had to unpack that. I had a few thoughts. I had to just put that out there because I was surprised when Matti said that. He did lead the video. He said it from the jump. He said that the camera's 5 years old, and but he was still very adamant in his stand that the FX6 is the best cinema camera, 2025. But I'm sorry, Matti, you were wrong on this one.